One of my favorite not too shabby products just got a first of its kind coordinating accessory. I cannot wait to share it with you. Hello crafty friends, my name's Alicia, but you can call me Crafty Al. And welcome, or perhaps welcome back to my channel. If you've been around very long, you know that I am in love with the one and done sentiment die from Not Too Shabby that was created by my crafty friend Teresa. In the past, I have made coordinating sentiment printables for members, and Not Too Shabby has given you some sentiments that coordinate with it in the back of their card front packages. Many of you had reached out hoping for either more printables or maybe a stamp to go with it, and guys, I have great news for you. Brand new from Not Too Shabby and Teresa of Fresh and Renewed with Teresa is a clear stamp set that coordinates with the die. This first one is called A Little Sunshine and has some great sentiments for cards of various occasions. Today, I'm going to make a sheet load of spring cards using this new stamp set and some other goodies from Not Too Shabby. I'm going to be pairing the new Whispers of Spring paper pad from Not Too Shabby with the June 2024 sheet load of cards. Now, if you don't have this printable yet, I will link the original debut and process video down in the description box below. If you're not a member, you still have a couple months to get this before it goes into the vault. As I get into the process today, I will tell you about other products and tools that I'm going to be using. But as always, if I ever leave you with any questions, feel free to leave those in that comment section below, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Let's get crafty! The June 2024 sheet load shows you how to make 8 A2 cards with just 4 pieces of pattern paper. For my cards today, I did choose 4 pieces, and this tulip one, I wish I could have a whole pad full of it. And instead of cutting both pieces per the original cutting instructions, I will be switching it up just a little bit. I'm going to cut the squares from the tulip paper and the strips from the more splotchy paper. I'm going to get started by cutting the 2 tulip pattern papers, and this is super easy. You cut it in half and then rotate each piece and cut it in half again. Now keep in mind, this will take up the entire 6 inches, so you'll want to make sure to cut it right at 3 inches, if not a hair under. On the second pattern paper, these will be the piece B's, so I started by cutting each piece to 5 1/4 inches wide. Now that little strip there that I have left over, I'll show you how I used up every little bit of that later on. After the first cut was made, I rotated each of these pieces and cut it into 4 sections that were 1 1/2 inches. Again, this does take up the entire length, so make sure not to do what I call generous cuts. There is still a little bit more cutting to do, and that is from the tulip paper. This piece actually needs to end up being 3 pieces that are 1 inch wide, but I cut it down to that 3 inches first, just so I can make sure that I have even pieces for the final cards. I did bring in a piece of Scotch removable tape to help me make that final cut, since it was a little bit too small for my fingers to hold on to, and then I started cutting the rest of the squares. Now I'm not going to show you all of that, but I want to show you how I separate those or how I offset them, so later it's easy to grab the pieces that will go on each card front. I did the rest of the cutting of the cardstock off camera, and if you want to see the original process video, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. To go with the background of the pattern papers, I chose some off-white cardstock for the card bases. For my large piece of cardstock, I used green tea cardstock, and for the mat for the tulip paper, I chose Brussels sprout. I am going to show you how I prefer to put my pattern papers onto their mat, and the first thing I do is lay the pieces out the way that they will go onto the cardstock backer. Then I'm going to add adhesive to the left piece and then put it on there so there's about 1/8 of an inch around the outer edges. And then instead of putting on the center piece, I actually put on the one to the right, again trying to get that same border. Now when I go to add the middle piece, I can just center it between the first two, and this way you don't start out with too much room on one end. I was originally only going to show you how I matted one of the tulip squares, but I wanted to show you that even crafty YouTubers make mistakes. I ended up cutting one of those squares incorrectly. I made the first cut at 1 1/4 instead of 1 inch. So what I tried to do is cut the right side to 1 1/4 inch too, and then I would just have that skinnier center strip. Well, I realized that after I put them together, I didn't cut it correctly. But you know what? I still think this is pretty cute and I'm still going to use it. Before I go any further in the process, I wanted to stop by with a special invitation for you. In case you missed it, I did a kickoff live stream this past Sunday telling you all about my Spring Advent 2026 live stream series. It is going to get started this Friday and will be 8 days long, and there is going to be daily prizes of the creation I make, and you can enter to win a Spring 2026 calendar of your own. To find out more information, check out the kickoff video, which I have linked in the description box below, and then make sure to set a reminder on the day 1 video so you don't miss out. And now back to the process. It is time to put the pattern paper piece B onto its cardstock backer. Now, since there is some extra white space there at the top, I decided to bring in this embossing folder from Stampin Up. It has a plaster texture, and I thought that would just add a fun element and kind of go with that splotchy look on the pattern paper strip. I just love the texture that this adds to the cards. Now originally, instead of cutting this piece down to 5 1/4 by 4 inches, I knew that doing the embossing would make it a little bit smaller. So now I'm going to go cut it to that finished size that I need for the cards. Since it does have so much texture, when I go to adhere the pattern paper strip to it, I'm going to use liquid glue and make sure I get a lot on there just so it has the best chance to adhere. I held that down on my magnetic glass board with a couple magnets and gave it some time to dry. And here's a look at all of those pieces put together. Oh, I just want to use that embossing folder on everything. Now's going to be one of the times where you can make sheet load your own. You can move your tulip piece around on the card front and even rotate that background if you want to. For me, I did go ahead and leave it over on the left side like the sketch shows, and just again to get some nice adhesion, I decided to put tape runner and liquid glue onto this piece before putting it beneath some magnets to let it dry. After a few minutes, I brought in the card base and I got the layered pieces added to the front center. Once again, using tape runner and liquid glue and letting it sit under some magnets to dry. While I was off camera adhering all of the card fronts, I did take the time to use up the scraps of the pattern paper and put a little angled piece on the inside of each card. And now's the moment I've been waiting for. I get to try out the brand new A Little Sunshine One and Done sentiment stamp. For the cards today, I'm going to stamp with green tea ink onto the same shade of off-white cardstock I use for the card bases. The green tea is the same cardstock color I used for the embossed piece. Now, since this is a new stamp, once I got it onto the door of my Misty, you saw there that I used the palm of my hands, and that just helps take off some of the manufacturing oil, and that just helps you get a clearer impression. Once that was stamped, I brought in the coordinating die, and to help hold it in place while I run it through my die cutter, I used a couple pieces of the Scotch removable tape. You'll just want to make sure that the sentiments look nice and centered in each of those openings. And now I have 11 sentiments for card making. I chose 8 of those for today's set, even though for some reason I'm only showing 7 on camera right now, and I added a strip of foam tape to the back. Before I place that onto the card, I am going to add some liquid glue to give me a little bit of wiggle time to adjust the sentiment where I want it. Now this is going to be one of those things where you are free to move that sentiment around wherever you think it fits best with your pattern paper, like the tulip piece or the background. Normally I would add some bling or some shine to finish off the cards, but because of the extra texture in the background and the fact that I really wanted that tulip paper to shine, I did stop here with the cards. And here are some close-up looks at the finished set. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I use the brand new One and Done A Little Sunshine stamp set to create this set of 8 cards. If you did, as always, a thumbs up is appreciated. Now don't forget to go visit my Instagram post so you can hop along and see what everyone else did with these stamps and dies. It is linked toward the top of the description box below. Until my next video, I hope you're all having a crafty day. Bye-bye. Hello crafty friends! As a special thank you for watching all the way to the end of today's video, I have a secret bonus word for you if you are playing along with my Spring Advent 2026 live stream series. Don't forget to watch the kickoff video to find out more about this, and keep in mind these are secret words, so do not give it away in the comments or anywhere else. This word is for those of you who are watching my video today. The secret word for this video is shabby, as in not too shabby. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch all the way to the end of the video. I hope now you'll consider clicking on one of the videos or playlists I have linked above. And if you are interested in any of the products or tools I used in today's video, I do have some links in the description box below.